Should we proceed or do we need some more time?
Just 2 minutes, ma'am, please.
Sure, sure, sure. Should we proceed or do we need some more time? Sure, sure, sure. Okay, are we ready to proceed?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Would anyone like to share what they thought and what they discovered answering the questions? Or do we do this later?
We can discuss that, ma'am, now itself. If you permit me,
Yeah.
I can give my
Please, please. Yes.
selection or choice. Thank you.
Yes, yes, please. Please go
Yes.
ahead.
Can I just read out my response of what I have written down in my paper, or how should I present? How you want me to respond to each question, ma'am?
Have you written specific responses for each of them, or have you just sticked?
No, I
Uh,
have just selected one
yeah.
of the five options for each
Mm-hmm.
question that you have asked me to do, which
Perfect.
means,
We can proceed however you like. If you would want to get into all of
yeah.
them, we can do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, yeah. I just before I proceed, I just tell you that just give me 5 seconds.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, ma'am, as the format or the template that you have given, we
Mm-hmm.
are supposed to choose
Mm-hmm.
whether I definitely would. Number two, I probably would. Number three, I am unsure. Number four, I probably would not. And then I definitely would not. Like that, there are five classifications for each question, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And with regard to number one, I would insist on that bully cut it out.
Yeah.
Cut it out means you mean you no longer encourage like that. If
Yeah.
in
Put
that
a
case
stop to it. Yeah.
I have chosen I probably would not, number option four,
Okay.
and then I would treat the matter lightly. That is number five, because I don't take and like.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go to, I would make sure the bully was suitably punished For that, I would accept. That means option two. And then when you go to, I would discuss the matter with my, or talking about it will have its own greatness or solution like that. I think that's why that option.
Okay,
And then
interesting.
fifth question, I would convene a meeting of students, including the bully or bullies, tell them what was happening and ask them to suggest
Hmm.
ways they could help improve the situation. I go for the second one. Yes, I would probably I would like.
Okay.
As long as it remains silly or light, I don't mind. But if it is grave, I will go for talking about with my colleagues or anybody for that matter. And
Can I ask you a
yes,
question here?
yeah, please, I will just mute once again.
No, no, no. Just ask you.
Go ahead, ma'am. Yeah, ask me.
So my question is how you would characterize something that's silly or acceptable? How would you know it's
Yeah,
silly?
yes, ma'am, I got your question. Actually, depending upon the magnitude of the problem X or Y faces, sometimes, if you bully me, I can take it very easily.
Mm-hmm.
A sensitive person is not expected of taking it lightly, or they take, if they are sensitive, then
Mm-hmm.
they will feel actually agitated, or they, if they are introverts, they are unable to come with any solution. In that case,
Mm-hmm.
I said that silly or serious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very true. I mean, it depends on the person
Yes,
for sure.
individual. Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone else have a response to this? How do you usually characterize what is silly or what is acceptable when it comes to joking around or just being with your friends? Any responses? How do you judge? So, of course, one way is to judge individually how you know that person, how sensitive that person is. Judge. Any thoughts?
Just repeat the question, ma'am, please.
The question is, so when we're among our friends or our loved ones, we do joke around about things, and sometimes it crosses over into bullying when the other person takes it in a certain way. So, what is the criteria for judging what's acceptable and what's not acceptable? One criterion is, of course, knowing how sensitive the other person is about that issue, which is so it's an individual, it's a matter of individuals. But what else do you think can help you judge the situation better and identify it as bullying?
I think for me, it would be if I'm feeling uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily take it as a silly joke, or I would inform the person that I'm not comfortable with what they're saying, or it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make me feel good, or thing of that sort. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. But what if you're witnessing bullying, or if I mean, I'm talking about from the perspective of a third person. How would, or even from the perspective of a bully, how would you recognize that you're crossing a line?
Excuse me, may I continue, ma'am?
Of course. Okay, sure. You can continue.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, bullying is like kind of disturbing others or disturbing our neighbor or the one who converses with us, with me or with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that we have no rights to disturb anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, so we have no rights to bully others. In that way, whatever might be hurting or disturbing or saying something against them which they don't want to be, want to hear that. So, those things. So, whatever the things that disturbs others or an individual, that's a kind of bullying, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ma'am, as joke, I would like to tell something that as bullying, I think the jokes which are repetitive
Yeah.
can be bully, and which are about our certain appearances, race, and certain characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
People make fun of those, so those can be termed as bullying, not as fun.
Yeah.
They might get fun, but those are bullying actually.
Yeah. Very true. I mean, there are certain topics that it's best to steer clear of because they clearly also that times it's hard to convey to your friend that you're feeling hurt. So it's you have to balance that out and make sure that even if you're talking to your friend, you don't repeatedly, press on a certain issue. So that's an interesting point. Yes. Any other
Ma'am,
thing?
I can, sorry to interrupt you.
No, not at all.
I can give you a practical, what do you call, response to this question of bullying.
Mm-hmm.
With regard to classroom, if you take, even my colleague Dr. Sendil will endorse this particular view. We go to different classes, ma'am.
Okay.
Classes like MA English, BA English, or BA Tamil, BSc Maths. Like we go to different classes, and they belong to heterogeneous group, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
what we teach, we teach general English for those classes other than BA English and MA English, and then we teach core subjects for BA and MA English.
Right.
And if we take your talk today on bullying, we tended to tease children or scold them or warn them when they are not listening. And
Mm-hmm.
we make it a point that that particular act of our bullying or our scolding or our warning should not last when we go to the next class. So
Mm.
what we do is we make it clear that once we leave this classroom, we forget the whole thing of what happens here. Whether to inform the children well in advance about the way your attitude towards them is there, then there won't be any harm. Even if you scold, washing dirty linen in public, many children do not like because we work in a co-educational college where boys and girls are together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one particular aspect of what I understand from this bullying kind of a talk, you can irritate, you can scold, you can do whatever you like, provided.
Cover all bases, and that the idea is to be more and more respectful and empathic and accepting in the future. So to feel that responsibility at large and to constantly have that will when one is getting bullied,